Welcome to Slow Home Studio. Too many people live in badly designed houses and we want to change that.
It's a new week here at Slow Home Studio and we're wearing the same clothes that we were wearing last week. And that's because we're taping our episodes in advance because John and I are actually right now in New York. We're at the ICFF show.
International Furniture Fair, and we hope to be bringing you some information back from there after we get back on Tuesday. But today we're going to be starting a new series, and we're going to start with an in-detail question that comes from Nancy and Sam in Pennsylvania.
And they say, here's our quandary. We bought our house in 1951, 2.5 years ago, and previous contractors have not always respected or understood the design. Hence the chainsaw and installation of the dishwasher to the left of the pink cast iron sink. And after taking care of more serious concerns in the house, which has been more of a restoration than a remodel, we are ready to begin a modest upgrade of the kitchen. Sounds very familiar and very timely. So the kitchen counters are worn out. They need to be replaced. The present pink and gray laminate was glued over top of the original laminate in the 80s. Sounds like a typical renovation issue. Yep. And it extends onto the backsplash, onto the windowsills, the laundry area, and onto one other separate small cabinet.
So it actually sounds like a bit of a mess, and then we started to look at the pictures. And actually, this is an architect-designed house. Phil Halleck, Central Pennsylvania architect from the mid-20th century, designed some beautiful houses, including this one. And this is the house that we're actually looking at. So when they talk about it being butchered with a chainsaw, they weren't kidding. It started out as a beautiful house. Here's the floor plan. You can look at all of these in more detail on the site. I'm going to go through them quite quickly. This is the kitchen that's left. This kind of 80s, bad 80s, 90s, just hack job throughout. And they're really wanting to know what can they use as a kitchen countertop.
Well, this is the thing, because they're dealing with an architecturally designed house, so we have to come up with a detail that's more architectural. So one thing is a laminate counter, and laminates are pretty standard, but when you actually look at how to detail it, you can get a lot of different looks with the way it's detailed.
And I just want to say, just to go back, that laminate is actually a mid-20th century laminate, right?
Yeah, it's a case study house laminate. It's a reissue from Formica, and it's of a classic series from the 1950s.
Which we thought would be particularly appropriate for this house.
Exactly. And this is a look, this is actually the same laminate in the chain set, and what the detail that we're recommending here is a hardwood edge, so not a beveled hardwood edge, but a flush hardwood edge where the millworker extends the laminate right to the edge of the hardwood, so you get a really clean joint. Yep. And it gives you that sort of classic 50s look with a modern twist. Here's another example in walnut of how that looks, and it's really interesting because this is just a simple white laminate, but that hardwood edge gives it a real sharp finish.
So if you're looking for something modest, this is a great way to do it because it's really just plastic laminate.
Yep. Another solution, which is a little bit more expensive, is some sort of quartz countertop. And the thing about quartz is there's so many different materials and colors that you can choose from that it's a really good choice if you want to liven up the kitchen. Here's an example where they've taken a sort of a Granny Smith apple green and they put it onto an oak cabinet. Pretty cool.
Which we thought was also a nice sort of contemporary 21st century twist on a mid-20th century house to take something like that. Obviously, a little bit more expensive.
A little bit more expensive. Again, how you detail it is important. The one thing that's nice about the quartz countertops is you can get an undermount sink, which allows you to mount the sink underneath the surface of the counter, which is cool.
So you don't have to have that pink salmon sink anymore. If you go with the laminate, it is a top mount sink. Yeah. You have to think about that.
Yeah, drop-in sink as opposed to undermount. Here's a detail, again, where the quartz countertop actually extends onto a leg of the island, and the leg is in a different color than the face. So you can detail it in a different way, a little bit of a reveal there.
So Nancy and Sam, I hope that helps. If anybody out there in the studio has some other ideas for Nancy and Sam's house, please post it. I know that they're going to be watching today and are more than happy to answer your questions. We'll see you tomorrow.